everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Joey the Veiled Cottage Witch, and I wanted to first off to correct a mistake that I made last week. I never like to let things go. It's like, oh well, I screwed up, they'll figure it out. No, I made a faux pas, and I really wanted to fix it before we got into today's video proper. So, last week, Monday, when we were talking about the Seven of Wands, when I picked up the Wildwood Tarot, I referenced the Seven of Arrows insecurity. And remember when I was like, this doesn't quite fit the theme, and I was like, it just didn't make a lot of sense. That's because with the Wildwood Tarot, there's different names for the suits, and I got my bows and arrows mixed up. So arrows is actually air or swords, and bows are wands. So my bad, this is actually the Seven of Swords. So with that being said, I want to do a quick comparison and fix my mistake here. So let's do a quick comparison to the Seven of Wands to the Seven of Bows in the Wildwood Tarot. And the call out word is clearance. So we know he's at, the top of the mountain here, and he's defending himself against all these wands. So here in the Seven of Bows, he's got his hatchet here for his firewood, and he's got a fire started over here. And he's got all these wands. He's got 6 of them stacked up here. And one bow, I'm assuming is the other one, down here on the ground, and he's nowhere to be found. So this feels a little bit like hiding out. When you've got so many people at you, so many things coming at you, it makes you want to hide out. And I feel like maybe he could be up in this tree, or, he could be hiding off here in the woods a little bit. And maybe this fire is a deterrent a little bit. That's the impression I get from the Wildwood Seven of Bows. He's like almost being stalked, I feel, with the energy of this card. And he just wants to be left alone. That's the energy I get of this card, which perfectly matches the energy of the Seven of Wands. So I wanted to apologize for getting my bows and arrows mixed up in the Wildwood Tarot. And after this faux pas, I don't think I'll let that happen again. So my apologies. So now that we fixed that, let's get into the video. All right. Welcome, boys and girls. We are at the Nine of Wands today. If you are new to my channel, I am Joey the Veiled Cottage Witch, and I teach tarot, I teach witchcraft, metaphysics. Tarot has been my life since I was 18 years old, so for quite a few years. And I love to share my ideas and insights on tarot imagery, symbolism, and I feel like I'm crooked here a little bit. And just, to talk to you guys, comparing symbolism and numerology and all that fun stuff. So I love to compare decks. I mainly do this to basically graduate you away from the Rider-Waite Smith deck. I love it, but I know lots of people especially now that there are a bazillion decks out there, I know people are tired of this imagery and they're looking for something different. And so, although I love that idea as well, I still feel like this deck is going to be your training wheels, and that's what every author who has ever written about tarot use either this or the Thoth deck. The Thoth deck is a little complicated for me to understand, but this is my home. I learned on this deck. I have read tarot book upon tarot book about this deck. I could read it with my eyes closed. So this is home base for lots of authors on tarot. They teach it from this deck for a reason, because there's so many rich pictures and imagery and metaphors and mythology baked in. So my goal is to help you find that imagery in these newer decks, in these different decks, so that you can transfer the imagery onto these newer decks. So without further ado, let's dive in, okay? So this is my 9th episode because we're doing the 9 of Wands. So we're nearing the end of the cycle. So it starts with the Ace and ends with the King. But the Ace through 10 is that cycle that you go through with the Wands. And the Wands are all about creativity and passion and spirituality. And when we get to the 9, it's like that final push. You're almost there. And so let's look at that imagery. So for me, carnelian is all about strength, endurance, and it gives you that last little push you need to make it to the 10. When I am sick, I grab my carnelian. When I am hurt, I grab my carnelian. When I am doing healing spells for others, I grab my carnelian. So as you can see, this person has been through the ringer. He is injured. He is tired. He's got a bandage around his head. He's clearly exhausted. Yet he's still standing. I tend to assign songs to different cards, and for me, this is Elton John's I'm Still Standing. If that's stuck in your head all day, you can blame me. I don't care. It's a fantastic song. So he's like, I'm still here. I equate this to nurses and doctors who work 24-hour shifts. They're like, they keep going. They keep going and they keep going because that's their job. Frontline workers. I mean, after all, he's in the front line, right? You don't get to be sick. You don't get to have a sick day when you're a frontline worker. You just do it. You buck up and you do it. You have that fortitude and that strength to do it anyway, no matter what. And I feel like that's the energy of this card. That 9 is like you're almost at that finish line. So you might as well buck up and do it. That's the energy of this card very clearly. He's just like, all right, I got, a little bit longer to stand here and do my job. I can't quit now. So that's the energy of the Nine of Wands. So let's look at that in the Druid Craft deck. I think the last time we looked at this was the Three of Wands. So let's look at that. Wow, look at the energy of this guy. Talk about determination. So he has used his wands. I mean, he's leaning on one. He's clearly injured as well. But look how he's using his wands. It's a defense. It's a stronghold. Not only is he standing, in the front line, but he's standing behind them. He's using them as protection. He's sharpened them. So this is very much used as definitely like a stronghold. Like, no one's going to bother this guy. He is ready for an attack. He's not going to get any more injured than he already is. He is ready. He is going to die in battle. He's ready for anything. And I love that about him. I love that about him. He is a true hero. He is whether or not, he can still fight, that's up to debate, but he's not gonna be hit again. He is not gonna be harmed again. According to him, he might get hurt, but he is gonna die on that battlefield. And that's a true warrior. So I love that about him. So you can see that in these wands. They are a weapon. So I love that about him. So that's the Druid Craft. Another Druid deck. Yeah, I don't know why I felt like Druids today, but now we have, I want to move these up a little bit. I'm going to make sure I get everything in shot today, even though I feel like we are super crooked. Maybe it's just me. I feel like we're super crooked. Oh, I picked the wrong altar cloth. All right. This is the Wildwood Tarot. I got it right this time, you guys. Bows are wands. I got it. So here we have the Nine of Bows. Respect. I respect this dude. I respect this dude. I mean, there's his, he's got a little tent he's got here. Looks like he's hiding in the forest and waiting for someone. Looks like he's hunting. He is huddled back here and looks like he's hunting and foraging for his food here. And, just waiting to attack someone. Very much a wild man here. I mean, look at his eyes. He means business. So I feel like the energy of this card is attacking. Instead of defending, he's attacking. I feel like that is his defense. That's all he has. I feel like he can't fight anymore. So maybe his story is that he can no longer fight for his tribe. So now he's a loner. he lives in the woods and he has to fight and hunt for his food. That is what he has to do. And sometimes it's like that. You know, we don't know his full story. We can just assume. You know, I'm not one to read through a guidebook start to finish. I like to make my own stories to go with this, because I feel like if you read that guidebook front to back and you know all those stories, it takes some of the mystery away. So I like to make my own stories. So I feel like they felt that he could no longer fight for the clan, and he now goes and lives in the wilderness and hunts and gathers for his food. And yeah, people respect him because I think that they probably fear him, because he looks pretty dangerous to me. I respect you, sir. Please don't hunt me down. But yeah. Does that energy change? Possibly. I mean, I feel like we've got a progression going here. This is when it gets a little more bitter and a little more bitter. But let's change gears completely and see what we have in the Guardian of the Night Tarot by MJ Cuillinane. We have the 9 of Wands, and we have a porcupine. Represent porcupine. I love this representation. I've been waiting, and I've had this card in my back pocket waiting for the 9 of Wands, because what a perfect boundary card. When we talk about the 9 of Wands, I feel like a keyword that we don't really use a lot is boundary, because boundaries, right? And that a porcupine carries his boundaries with him. It's like, that's part of his defense mechanism, you know? And isn't that true about all of these guys? They're using all of these wands as their defense. And so the porcupine quills become a defense mechanism. That's beautiful representation. If somebody is coming at them, like for this guy, those quills come up. And let me tell you, I've poked myself with one of these. Ouch. It makes me not want to do it again. So what a, you know, I love that she incorporates animals into her decks, because really we can look at the animal kingdom and learn so much about their modes and their personalities and what they do, their mannerisms, to understand us. We're animals, right? And so I feel like we can learn a lot. We can definitely learn a lot from animals. So to me, this is a beautiful representation of the energy of the 9 of Wands. You know, this is such a warning, you know, don't fuck with me kind of energy. You know, we start out here with, I'm just doing my job. I'm tired, I'm injured, but I'm here trying to make it through the end of the day, to, hey, not only am I here, but I'm also going to defend myself, to, all right, I'm no longer part of this society. Now I'm something to be feared, to, these are my boundaries. Don't cross me. You know, so all of these basically stay on theme, just in different degrees. So I hope that this was helpful for you to understand the energy of the Nine of Wands to varying degrees, and hopefully help you to understand the Nine of Wands and what it represents maybe inside your cards. I very much encourage you, as you're watching this, to get your decks out and follow along and see what you can find in your decks. Even just one, just get one out. You see the title, oh, she's going to talk about the Nine of Wands. Get your Nine of Wands out. See what you see. I would love for you to comment what you see in your deck down below in the comments. Let's have this conversation. I would love to hear it. It's so important that we pass the torch and that we teach others. And, you know, it's so important that we share education, because I feel like this is how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to share this education. We're supposed to pass on this knowledge to others. This is how we build knowledge and wisdom and guidance. So it's so important. Other than that, today, I wanted to let you know that you can book a reading with me or sign up for a service or a class. All you have to do is go to my website, theveiledcottagewitch.com, and hit me up a message, and I can schedule you right away. You can also order my herbal products. At checkout, just make sure to put the code word veiled, all caps, to get free shipping. And you can also hit a button at checkout to actually pick up at the cottage. So there's that. Other than that, I will be putting out another one of these videos on Thursday. We'll be doing the 10 of Wands. Yeah, we're closing in on the Wands. Next will be the Cups. So I'm excited about that. So other than that, live your best life and live for yourself. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye.